I am Joe from Empire Music, empiremusic.com in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And we are one of only a few Taylor Guitars online preferred dealers. You can check us out right at empiremusic.com. You can chat with us through the site, see our full inventory, no stock photos, and most importantly, know that we do a full pro setup to factory spec on every guitar we sell before it's shipped out to make sure it's the best playing guitar it can be when it comes to you. Now, I'm excited because this project is something we worked on a long time with Taylor, and it's called Empire Select. And it's a bunch of wood combinations that Taylor Guitars doesn't offer in their line. We do a 700 series and a 400 series. Today I'm showing off a 700 series, a 714 CE, Sinker Redwood, top, koa, back and sides. I'm really excited because these are wood combinations that I personally like, that I've found over the years work really, really well together and fill holes in the Taylor lineup that they don't offer this combination. There's some cosmetic stuff that's happening here that's kind of unique to these guitars, which is cool. And there's a lot of value in them. We invested in building these guitars with Taylor, and we got some great pricing for you. Like I said, you can go to the site, you can see every one by serial number and see the exact wood combination. So why do we do this? Mostly because I love working with custom shops and the wood opportunities that each brand has. And this is a perfect example of something that I always say, like, why doesn't Taylor build this? So we went and undid it. This guitar solves a lot of sonic problems for customers that come in the door or call us on the phone that are looking for a specific sonic profile and can't find it. Koa back and sides, absolutely beautiful. People love koa because it's gorgeous, and it is. When you put an all koa guitar together, I think many people find that it's way too stiff. It doesn't have enough output. So the koa top, back and sides, a K24, a 724, they're beautiful and they sound really nice, but they're very limited headroom. They're a little thin, and I think you find that the top end output is so much lower than other guitars that is a roadblock, and it takes a long time for them to open up. But I have a bunch of Taylor guitars with koa back and sides that aren't koa topped. And I love them because you get the sweetness, you get the sparkle, you get this like kind of like a lush, earthy response. And then we just need to make sure we pair it with a top that lets us do what we want to do. And that's why I selected the Sinker Redwood. Many of you have seen Sinker Redwood in the 50th anniversary lineup, and Taylor's used it for various limited editions throughout time. Redwood that was submerged for a long period of time. They pull it out of the river it's in. It's typically in California, where just over time, 50 years, 100 years ago, they were being transported by water, north or south, and just fell off. So they have found them. And what's cool about it is that water has allowed this wood to kind of have a unique mineral content. So it's a little bit stronger, a little bit harder. So a great way to describe this is like cedar on steroids. That's Taylor's way of describing it. I think that's really spot on. You get all the warmth of cedar, but you get a lot more output. So you get the ability to sound huge while getting that warmth and roundness. If you've played Taylor guitars in the past and you found you found a little bit bright, which I always think is an unfair assessment of the guitars. I think Taylor guitars are really defined, and I think they have a lot of top end response, but I think the guitars are not brittle. I think when I think of a bright guitar, I think of something that's kind of like thin sounding at the top or tinny. To me, they have a lot more character than that, but this gives you that roundness that you're probably looking for. So if you come in and you have played a Taylor guitar and you thought the top end had too much bite, this gives it that warmth, that kind of more mature response, and allows us to play all of our styles, which is really important. The Grand Auditorium body shape is amazing because it's a shape that's good for all style play. You can play lightly, you can play big, you can play singer-songwriter stuff by yourself, you can play in a band, you can fill a room, whatever you need, it can kind of hang in all those different situations. You of course get an ebony fingerboard, you get an ebony bridge, you get the expression system too. We have a special inlay package we put on here. All the 700 series selects, and when you go to the site, you can see all the different wood combinations come in wood bindings, and they even have the Taylor Sense built in, which is really cool, so you can track your humidity and all that good stuff. If you watch my videos, I like to do two things. I like to talk about the dynamic range of the instrument and the mids, because I think these are the things that each of us, no matter how we play, will be impacted heavily by, and it's things that I think really allow me to make a quick decision on if an instrument's right for me, because I want to know how big it sounds and what I'm looking for, and then I want to hear how vocal the guitar is through the mids, so that I can make sure that I'm not getting an instrument that doesn't have enough balance or evenness. So let's check out the dynamic range and the mids, and we'll see what you think. First, a really beautiful sounding guitar. It's always fun when I come into these. I'm thinking about the dynamic range and thinking about the mids, and a lot of times something kind of jumps out at me. And first is, this is just a beautiful sounding guitar. It's very organic sounding. This to me, if you tend to trend to the style of guitar that's like maybe a little more classic in tone profile, this really has that percussive kind of crunchy aspect to it that you really feel as a player. I mean, you get the breathiness of the Koa, which I think is very apparent on the back and sides, but then you get this kind of almost ability of, when I was playing the guitar lightly, you could feel the guitar wanting to give you more, which is always fun, because it's like when you're playing, it's almost, the word that came to mind was like shouting. It wanted to like give out that tone because it has so much more, which is unique, because typically when you get the warmth of the instrument like this, the ceiling is lower, but this opens up really, really nicely, a ton of bloom to it, and you get to a point where, like, at the end, if you're playing regularly heavier than I was playing, which I find is a very small percentage of our customer base, you need a larger guitar. You know what I mean? You definitely want, if you want the most output, if you want the most punch, if you want the most cut, you definitely want a spruce top guitar, and likely bigger. But for most of us, I think you'd find this sits perfectly in a collection, because you can play that light fingerstyle, light picking, and it just really sounds, gives you the tone of a big guitar while being quiet, which is a great compliment to it. It just really sounds like the idea is fully developed. A lot of times when you're playing a guitar quietly, it almost feels like it's choked out and it's struggling to give you anything, and until you really push it, then it gives you its voice. Whereas here, you achieve that voice really early on in the playing attack, and it just continues to open up and give you more, which is awesome. And I think it plays big top to bottom. The bottom end, I think the bass that I like is always thumpy, percussive, present, but not so thuddy and muddy that you can't, hear anything else. And I think this nailed it. Also, the mids of the guitar, Taylor's always been good at this. The V-class bracing smoothed out all of kind of like that extra jangle at the top that sometimes ate into the mids a little. Here, when you play through, it's almost like a harp. I mean, it's gorgeous. I mean, it's like really, really beautiful. And to me, you hear every note precisely. And if I were to tell the people at Taylor Guitars that, they would be very excited about like that, thought and that appraisal, because that's an amazing compliment to have an instrument with this many notes and this many strings, and as you play through, you're able to get equal thought to each one of those notes that's being played. And as you play through here, each of those notes really gets to sing and do its part, which is phenomenal. I mean, it's just like a really, really great instrument. So today, it's the Taylor Empire Select 714 CE with Sinker Redwood and Koa back and sides. But remember, check out empiremusic.com. We have the entire selection of Empire Selects, 400s and 7 series. See all the wood combinations. Reach out to us. We can help you pick the exact one that you see on the site. Make sure if we have a handful of each in stock, we can help A/B them for you. And make sure we get you a great, great guitar delivered, packaged nicely, and most importantly, dialed in with a full pro setup by our amazing techs. They dial everything to factory spec. You won't get a better version of a Taylor guitar anywhere in the country. So I'm Joe from Empire Music. This is a Taylor Empire Select 714 CE. Thanks for watching.